Ooh, that is bright, right? So once the light hits a mirror, it can burn. It makes things burn. It could make you blind. So the question is, can you really honestly look into the mirror without getting burned? Hi everyone, my name is Lily. I'm a systemic coach and I help highly intuitive women to come back into clarity and to turn their shame into confidence. If you're on my channel, you're probably one of the people that are already quite into self-development, and perhaps you bought the books, you signed up for the courses, and you did that program, and perhaps you're still wondering why the heck is nothing really changing. And I brought this little prop here because I wanted to raise awareness on that it is a true art to really look into the mirror. So the problem never was that you didn't know enough or that you didn't do enough. The problem is that you might actually run away from the answers that are inside of you. I actually witnessed that in myself. The more I try to do, the more I try to fix, to change, to transform something, the worse things actually got. And why is that? So the truth is that quite often you don't actually need anything. You don't need me, you don't need a method, you don't need, a guru. Literally everything that is inside of you is what you need in order to be happy, in order to move on in your life, in order to really become next level. Because you cannot pay for change. You need to earn change. And you can only change through an initiation. When you actually see the truth. And you see the truth when you are ready to let old ego parts of yourself die. And this is also why I brought in this mirror in the beginning, because so often we look into the mirror and all we see is just the surface, the projection of who we think we are, who we think we're supposed to be. But do we really see right into our soul? Do we really look into our eyes? Can we really see our true essence when looking into the mirror? Or are we full of judgment? Are we full of projections? Maybe we're even trying to hide something and you use the mirror to, mask yourself, putting on all this makeup. But really to look into the mirror is quite a magical thing. I don't know if you've ever done that, but when you really set the intention, you stand in front of the mirror and you actually just want to sort of look through that projection you see, you will suddenly start to notice how your face is actually morphing. It starts to change. It's quite wild. It's a little bit like a mushroom trip. Like the face starts to change. Maybe you suddenly look like another person, or you look older, or you suddenly see or can sense another energy coming through when you look in your eyes. And I mean, there's a reason why they say you can look into somebody's soul when you look into their eyes, because that's the window, right? That's the window to what's inside. And sometimes I like to do a little experiment. I look at people's eyes from photographs, especially like celebrities, you see them and they have all that fame and supposed to live like a happy life. But then when you look at their eyes and you only see the eyes, you see the truth, if they're really happy or if they have so much stored emotions and other things. So when nothing is changing and you wonder why, because you're doing so much, you're doing everything according to the textbook. When that is the case, then it is because you are actually trying to run away from yourself. And that sounds so paradox, because you're like, what? I'm doing therapy. I'm doing whatever. I'm being coached. I'm being mentored. I have my regular spiritual routine, whatever it is. But the funny thing is, you can even avoid yourself doing all of that. Because the thing here is, you try to become something else. You're trying to be something else. And in that sense, you're sort of bypassing who you actually are. But the moment You drop everything and you can really look into the mirror and you can truly connect what is and what isn't, and fully, radically accept yourself in this moment. This is when you heal. And this is when you naturally become somebody else. It's like you reach a level of consciousness which opens a portal for yourself to step through. And through that, that's the initiation. Through that, you become somebody else. But not because you're forcing it, not because you wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and do your gym workout, and then you go to your Kundalini class, and then you do the fasting, and then you do the this and that, and then you have a therapy class, like that you're running away from the silence inside of yourself. So the true answer that would actually liberate yourself, the true answer to all your problems is already there. It's inside of you, but you don't want to listen. You don't want to see. You don't want to look into that mirror. And that's then when you go in circles and you feel like nothing is really changing. Why am I still attracting the same clients? Why am I still in lack mentality? Why am I still attracting toxic partners? All of that. If this is the case, then you know that you haven't really looked close enough. And I always tell that to my clients, to stay with themselves. Because even if you like binge watch on YouTube all these amazing, inspiring speakers that can give you an inspiration for how to get a different perspective, in a way, you're still consuming, but it doesn't actually land. It doesn't really sink in. It doesn't really find any ground where it can sit and start to grow little roots and actually, help you from the inside out, because we keep dumping all that knowledge, all that information, and more, and another course. But that time for integration is missing. That time for really giving ourselves to fully take up that space, to maybe not be ready, to give ourselves space to just need a few more moments before we become somebody else, because maybe we haven't really fully accepted who we are in this moment. So I really would like to invite you to maybe even, do that mirror magic here. Look into the mirror and tell yourself, I'm ready to see another layer. I'm ready to see my truth. And I know that stuff isn't easy, because it requires to be brutally honest to yourself. But once you see the truth, once you really met yourself, there's no return. And I can speak from experience, because I feel like I've done so much. I did so many different things, and nothing changed until the moment when I just allowed myself to meet myself. And then the whole fear around, will I be rejected? Will I be abandoned? Will I be this and that? Is actually not so important. The only thing that is important is, will you stay with yourself? Because when you stay with yourself, when you no longer run away, when you accept yourself the way how you are, this will be so incredibly powerful that people will start to choose you, because you chose yourself. And in the beginning, that might feel a little bit lonely. People will leave your life. But I always say, it makes space for those who really can see you and who really want to be with you, with your true essence, where you don't have to pretend, you don't have to mask. You can just be yourself, and you know how liberating that is? And all it takes is this decision inside of your heart to give yourself permission to do so. So thank you so much for listening. And if you're still here and you're interested in having a one-on-one session with me, I'm more than happy to assist you in finding your truth, because that's what I'm specialized in. I help people to mirror the truth, what they might not be able to see themselves yet.